Do you remember how this was really good? Okay, what if we did that again? The long-awaited Sonic and the Fallen Star follow-up is here. Sonic in the Moon Facility. Except, not really. Due to some internal issues, the game actually isn't finished and probably never will be, but I still want to talk about it because this game is actually amazing. As I just said, the game is unfinished, so I'm going to say pretty soft with my criticism. First thing as always, StarDrop nailed the looks of this game. The Sonic sprite looks similar to the one from Fallen Star, but I genuinely do not think anyone is complaining. That one was beautiful. I think the colors of the zones are gorgeous, and I would say when it comes down to just looks, this game does not disappoint. Also, they have the most interesting things in the options menu. There's a whole slider for how much squash and stretch you want on the character, which I think is one of the coolest things ever. The fact that the super peel out, spin dash, and drop dash are all usable in this game is genuinely insane and makes the movement so fun. Doing a super peel out and then dropping into a drop dash is actually one of my favorite parts about the game due to the sheer speed you get. The PC boxes are the same as really any other Sonic game. There's rings, the elemental shields. They're also tilted to a little bit to the right though. I thought that was pretty cool. And the cool thing about the elemental shields in this game is that they're each shaped around something different. The lightning is a triangle, the water is a square, and the fire is a circle. And most of their abilities are the exact same, but that was just something I thought was so cool. They should really pick that up in the modern games. The water shield's pretty much the exact same as the mainline games where it just pulls you down and then bounces you back up. So is the electro shield as it just gives you a double jump. But the fire shield is probably the biggest change from the mainline games where it gives you 3 extra jumps, all being higher than the last. Oh yeah, also Tails is playable. He does the same old things he usually does, but I just thought I should mention that to be sure. I think this game's levels are almost as good as Fallen Stars, though some zones don't have their bosses, which was expected going into it, but my problem with all the bosses is that all of them are insanely easy. You will wipe the floor with almost all of them, no sweat. The only one that gave me like a little bit of trouble was the first Metal Sonic encounter, which by the way, since we're on the topic of Metal Sonic, he looks beautiful. Metal is probably my favorite Sonic character, and I just love how he looks in this game. Thank you, StarDrop. But back to what I was saying, most bosses you can literally just stand and keep jumping and you will just get free hits and wipe them out in like a minute. Genuinely, I beat the final boss of this game in just around a minute. Now, perhaps there was more to this boss that just didn't make the cut, but we'll never know for sure. If I had to give it my best guess, there was going to be some sort of secret final boss like how Fallen Star did if you had all the Chaos Emeralds, but due to the game not being done, it was never made. But while we're talking about Chaos Emeralds, the special stages in this game are interesting, to say the least. How the ones in this game work is you start as Supersonic and need to shoot these robots to get enough score to get the emerald with a limited amount of time. But each time you're hit, you lose 10 seconds of that time, which for reference, you start with around 60 seconds. You can get more time, but you're never really going to have above 60 seconds, and it's extremely easy to get hit. On my first attempt with these, I ran out of time, and it bugged, and I was stuck flying infinitely. So they're not in the best state at the moment. I would consider these a pretty big downgrade from Fallen Stars, which I just think had a better concept in mind. Now the physics of this game appear to be ripped directly from Fallen Star, which isn't a problem. Those worked before, but running on the roof is still quite present. A common criticism for Sonic and the Fallen Star was the difficulty. There were no lives, and for me, as someone who's frankly, god damn it, amazing at video games, is perfectly fun. But another con with the no live system was the general lack of collectibles in Fallen Star. But now in Moon Facility, we have moon medals, which there are around 3 in each level, and they're kind of this game's equivalent to the mainline games' red star rings. Quick spoiler though, there's art in the gallery menu of the game of 1-up boxes for each character, and it said they were plans for a modern and classic slider, which would enable lives, but was cut due to time. Talking about the zones from this game, I think the backgrounds are genuinely beautiful. When you reach the higher levels of the Moon Facility, you can like see the top of the Earth, which is probably my favorite background from both of the games, besides maybe the Nova Sonic fight. Also, as you're progressing through the final stage, it shows how high up you are on this tower, and I don't know, it's such a small detail, but I genuinely thought it was so cool. But I do have one negative about the zone, which is that Metal Sonic makes a return. But the way you defeat him is just brutal. You rip his legs off, and you just obliterate him. Please don't make me do this. Also, Tails is just here, I guess, and is only here to kill you, apparently. His cruelty disgusts me. Other zones I really enjoyed were Powdery Plains because you open on a surfboard like you're back in Ice Cap. Also, Alpine Avenue due to the Sonic paint as well as the background, and Bamboo Breeze because of the colors. Like, dude, I'm colorblind and I still think the colors look really nice. Now, a common complaint from Fallen Star was that the background meshes too easily to the foreground, which I think they've mostly fixed. It happens occasionally, but I think it's much less prevalent than from the previous game. Now, to quickly talk about the story, there isn't one. There are no in-between zone cutscenes, which is very unfortunate because those are some of my favorite parts about Fallen Star. But the game is not finished, so I'm not going to give them a lot of flack for that. Now, once you beat the game, you unlock the ability to play as Amy or the Goat, as well as the gallery and the course select. Metal and Amy both play uniquely, with Metal being able to dash forward and Amy having a longer lasting insta-shield and being able to throw projectiles forward while doing it. The time attack and the gallery are both what you would expect, but are still good. I like the time attack having an option to enable super forms for each character. Speaking of which, they all have super forms, including Metal and Amy. Metal's is just him switching between two color palettes, and Amy's has a nice glow to it. The gallery was especially interesting, this time showing unused super forms, as well as some other things that were cut before we got our hands on the game. Also debug mode. That's cool. Now, would I say this game is better than Fallen Star? No. But honestly, it's not a super fair comparison. But the fact this game comes close and is unfinished is amazing. I really think all this game needs are better bosses and story cutscenes, and it's probably the better game. But I forgot to mention, the music in this game goes insanely hard. Here are a couple of my favorite tracks. Okay, that's really all I got. The Blacktails video is coming. I promise it will release. I just have a lot of ideas on the table right now. Expect more. I'm hoping to do something within the next month. But if I don't do anything within the next month, don't be super shocked. Because my time management is genuinely terrible. Okay, I love you. Bye.